Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for this week's Unlocking the Magic of Leadership. Now, this week, as we are moving into 2025, I know some of us are setting resolutions, some of us are not doing resolutions, but many of us are thinking about the year ahead. What is it going to look like, and how do we want to show up? So this week, we're going to be talking about growth mindset. Now, when we talk about growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication, hard work, and learning. In short, it means that if you go into a difficult situation, you're like, all right, we're going to figure this out. Now, on the other hand, a fixed mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence are static traits that cannot be significantly changed. So if we have a fixed mindset and we go into something challenging, we're not going to have the confidence to be able to do anything about it. So many times we just don't do anything about it. Now, a growth mindset is really important for leaders because one, you are dealing with your organization and what they're asking you to do. And the reality is the amount of change that we are currently going through is out of this world. And so being able to deal with that stuff as it's coming is important for you, but it's also important for you to be able to show your employees kind of that lead the way piece. Now, there's some tips that we want to give you to be able to help develop that growth mindset. And the very first tip is one that seems kind of counterintuitive, but the reality is it can make a huge difference. And the first tip is to embrace setbacks. And so what that means is when you go into a situation and it doesn't go the way that you want it to go, look at it as a puzzle. How can we figure this out? Versus, oh my God, this is the end of the world. I can remember when my husband and I were getting married, we were driving from Florida to New Orleans where the wedding was going to be. And I showed up in my Kia Soul to his parents' house because his mom was doing so much planning for the wedding. And she had a lot of stuff that we needed to bring with us. And so as soon as we get there, my mother and father-in-law look inside my car and they're like, there's no way you're not going to be able to fit everything. I was like, let's get everything out of the car and let's see. And so they were watching as I was Tetrising it out. And finally I was like, okay, y'all go inside and give me a chance to figure this out. And it never crossed my mind that we wouldn't be able to figure out how to do it. That is an example of growth mindset. Now, the thing about growth mindset is sometimes it'll be easy for us to have it. Like when I'm trying to figure out how to pack my car because I've moved a cajillion times, so packing's easy. Sometimes it may be more challenging. Like when my daughter was born, I very much had a fixed mindset when she was born. And it took a lot of work between me and my husband, and if I'm being real with y'all, some therapy, to be able to move beyond that. And so we may be able to show up with a growth mindset in one arena, but have a fixed mindset in another. So when you experience those challenges and experience those setbacks, pay attention to what's happening within you. Is this something that, you know what, I've never packed a car to go to a wedding, but I've moved 1,000 times, so piece of cake. Or is this something that I have never experienced before, and so I'm telling myself I can't do it? Because the reality is you have survived every single hard day that you've ever been through. You have done every hard thing. And so you have the skill set and the tools to be able to continue to do hard things, but it may just look different than it has in the past. Now, the second tip is to celebrate effort, not just success. So many times we only celebrate if we achieve the goal versus recognizing the amount of effort that we put into it. So one of the things that I work with my daughter is when she does something good, or if she's trying something really hard and it's not working, we're celebrating the effort, not just the success. For example, cartwheels. I think it's genetics. We don't do cartwheels. She has overcome that. It took us a very long time to overcome that. But we would always encourage when she was trying the cartwheels, it was, oh, that's getting so much better. So talking through the effort, not just the success. And paying attention to the effort is valuable for you as well as your employees and loved ones. It helps us recognize that the effort is the important part. The destination that we're going to, that's where we get that rush, but the effort is the important part. That's where we're learning. Now, the final tip is to cultivate curiosity. When we go into a situation, keep that constant lifelong learning happening. Because when we can ask ourselves, what am I going to learn from this? Then it can help transform difficult situations. What exciting thing am I going to know on the other side of this? How am I going to show up? All of these pieces, that curiosity piece of that constant learning, asking questions, going into it, can help us keep that growth mindset instead of putting on the fixed mindset hat and locking in. All right, so for this one, we talked about the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and we shared 3 tools. The first tool is to embrace those challenges. The second tool is to remember to celebrate efforts, not just success. And then the third tool is to cultivate curiosity. I hope you have had an absolutely amazing week. And don't forget, as always, you got this. I'll see you next week.